What is your greatest hope for yourself personally and professionally in 2025? I was just asked this question recently when I renewed my membership in the Xchange Approach, a growth-minded community that I'm a part of, a learning community that uses the Xchange Approach to up-level events, communities, and really anytime people gather. In this video, I'm going to take a few minutes to share what the Xchange Approach is, and then how I'm using the Xchange Approach to grow personally and professionally in 2025. Hey there, my name is Josh Friberg, and I am a Certified Xchange Guide. Actually, in this video, I'm going to explain what that means, what a guide is, and what Xchange is. Because as I mentioned in the intro, I recently renewed my membership. I'm now in year 5 as a community member with the Xchange Approach. And Stephanie, who's in charge of all our membership, sent me this question. She said, Josh, what is your greatest hope for yourself personally and professionally as you continue learning and growing with Xchange? So I'm going to share with you what Xchange is all about and then how I'm planning to grow. And I'm going to share with you how some of the important lessons I've learned in Xchange may be able to help you grow personally and professionally, particularly when you think about when you gather with other people, right? Whether that be with a work team, with an event that you're doing, when you have coffee with another person. I've really found that Xchange has helped me a lot when I meet with other people. So what is this Xchange thing that I've been talking about? Xchange is founded by John Berghoff, and John was really involved with appreciative inquiry at Case Western Reserve University under the tutelage of David Cooper Ryder and Ron Fry and others over there, and has really turned appreciative inquiry into a model for when people gather. I would say that Xchange has 3 big superpowers. The first one really is we call conscious facilitation, right? And the 2-day course they lead on this is called Conscious Facilitation Mastermind. I've been through it several different forms and times over the years. And what it really teaches is how to initiate, design, and facilitate transformational gatherings, right? Like when you gather with other people, that those events wouldn't just happen, but that they would really make a difference in the lives of the people that are there. What I love about this process of designing and creating transformational events is that we do 3 things really well. This is called the 3C model within Xchange, where we move the learning from passive to active learning. That it's not just sitting back and consuming passively. You've heard me talk about this, but that everybody who comes as a participant is actively engaged with the material and how they're going to implement it in their lives and in their careers. The next thing we do is we create connection between people, and we do that by moving the expertise from the experts, right? Moving the learning from the experts to everyone that's gathered. Right? And you think about anytime you're with people, they don't like to just be talked at, don't like to be lectured. We have names for people who do that. We say this person's a know-it-all, or they're, just love hearing their own voice. And so we design events where we ask great questions so that everybody is responding with their wisdom, experience, knowledge, intelligence. It's a really cool way to gather. And by the way, this works at all levels, right? This can work at your family dinner. Instead of just saying your expertise, and you might be more knowledgeable, but actually asking questions that draws everybody to fully participate in the conversation. And then the third thing we do is to really invite community. And we do that by first creating enough safety, psychological safety is what this is called, where everyone can see themselves as an individual. They get to bring their best selves to something, but they also are invited to be part of a larger system, right? Part of what some people call in wildlife biology like superorganisms, that humans don't exist as individuals. We exist in community. In fact, it's one of the most important things for our health, for our happiness, for our longevity, is, are we really part of a community? And so that's the first thing that I have found that Xchange does really better than anybody else. The next thing we do, and it's based on the work of Dr. Danny Friedland, Leading Well from Within, and that is conscious leadership. And conscious leadership is really about the internal game, right? Is learning how to take control of, to notice what's happening internally with us, and then the skills and actions and behaviors that we can use so that we are more conscious and present when we are with people. This makes us better leaders and ultimately makes us better people and better members of our community. And so if conscious facilitation is about learning the skills of guiding people through an experience, right? And guiding people through their own growth and through meaningful gatherings where everyone is elevated. Conscious leadership is about self-leadership first before we lead others, so that our internal state is really transformed. And one of the ways that gets said, and I don't remember who the quote is, but that basically the most important factor in determining like a leader or a guide's effectiveness in bringing an intervention to a community, right, to actually creating a change within an organization or organism, is actually the internal state of that person who's guiding that experience, right? That if that person is anxious, stressed, fearful, the group will be. But if that person is centered, is calm, is hopeful, is curious, guess what? The group will be there too. And so I found that these two things are both really important, especially when it comes to the third thing that Xchange is exceptional at, which is appreciative inquiry summits. I've gotten to be a part of a few of these, and these are multi-day events frequently, sometimes over the course of weeks or months, but often with like a highlight 3-day summit as an example, where we use the power of appreciative inquiry, this change model that comes out of Case Western Reserve, this change model that says the questions we ask, right, and asking the right questions can actually cause to appreciate, that is, cause to grow in our organization the things that make us best. So that's kind of a brief summary of what Xchange does. There might be better explanations of it out there for sure, but that's what I have for you today in terms of what the Xchange approach is. And I love being a part of the community, and I love being a guide within the community. So I want to respond to this question from Stephanie, which is, what is my greatest hope for myself personally and professionally? And I want to invite that question for you too. Is how could an approach to doing the things that you do be improved by taking an appreciative inquiry approach to it, by asking questions that say, what within myself, within my career, would I like to see grow? What's my greatest hope for that? And what strengths do I have to move toward that? In the end here, I'm going to actually share with you the 5 questions that I've found most meaningful that I've learned within Xchange that maybe you can apply to this question for yourself as you think through your greatest hope for 2025 for your growth, both personally and professionally. But for me, I would say I've come up with 2 phrases that capture this. The growth that I want to have as part of Xchange in 2025 first is, I want to learn how to be more who I am when I'm on stage. So I work professionally as a business coach and as a transformational Emcee. I go into events, I'm up on stage guiding dozens to hundreds of people through a shared learning experience. And I'll tell you what, I've noticed there's this gap between who I am on stage and who I am off stage, as it were. And I realized that, weirdly enough, the person that I am on stage is not an act. It's not a show. It's not a performance. It's actually a place where I'm most who I am, like one of the best versions of myself there. Right now, there's a lot that goes into that. But I find that tends to be really, really true. That's when I'm like, yes, this is who I am. And often we'll ride a high after an event for several days or weeks, because I stay in that place of like curiosity, of consciousness and awareness to others. Let me ask you this. Where are you at your best? And how might you allow the other times in your life, the other areas of your life, to be more like that, so that we can double down on our strengths, make ourselves better through that? I would say that's when I am definitely, like most who I am, most present, inviting, less fearful, less seeking to control or manipulate, and really in a position of curiosity. That's how I'd like to grow personally. In terms of Stephanie's second part of Stephanie's question is, how would I like to grow professionally? The phrase that I'm using for that is press record. Press record. I have spent decades now learning how to be a better speaker, a better communicator, but I always do it in really small formats. I always do it in live rooms, whether that be in Zoom or in person, but really small groups. And I think I've gotten to a point now, I'm in my 50th year now, so I turned 50 at the end of this year, that it's like, it's time to take what I've learned and to share it out more broadly. That's why I'm doing all these YouTube videos, right? Is because I believe that when people gather together, that there is absolutely outstanding potential. But most meetings, well, they're terrible. They're just awful. And they can be made better with just a few changes. And I want to be part of that. I want to be part of helping people learn conscious leadership so they can change their internal state. I want them to learn skills so that they can be better. I want to help design and guide amazing meetings that allow for great transformation for individuals and for organizations. It's part of what I do. It's part of what I do in my volunteer work, like with my church. I've been part of a transformation process where we've applied principles much like appreciative inquiry. They use adaptive leadership, which is a cousin of appreciative inquiry. And this is where I want to really press record and start letting more people know. So like, here's what I want to tell you. If you're still watching this, if you have a meeting and you want help making that meeting better, I want to be a resource to you. And so what I'd like to do next is just give you 5 questions that have been a gift to me over the last 5 years with Xchange. These are going to be our daily questions this week on the YouTube channel. But let's see how these hit you. I'd be curious to see how you might respond to these. And you're welcome to, by the way, you're welcome to put something in the comments related to it. And if you appreciate content like this, we'd love for you to subscribe. I'm going to tell you more about how we can make meetings better, how we can elevate your events through asking better questions, elevating everybody in the room, right, to be full participants in our events. Well, here's the questions that I've received as gifts over the last 5 years with Xchange, and these are going to help me grow. I hope they can help you grow as well. The first one is this. It is, what can you notice? What can you notice? And I'm really loving this word notice. It's so powerful to pause, and this is the key skill of awakening conscious leadership, is to pause and notice. And what's great about the word notice is that it allows you to look at something, to see that it happened without necessarily having judgment on it, without having to immediately decide whether it's good or bad, and maybe even to point it out within a group, so that other people can go, oh yeah, I noticed that too. And then begin to evaluate whether that was good or something we want more of or something we want less of. The other place to notice, what can you notice just happened, or notice where your internal state is, where you currently are. Next, their next two questions are connected to each other. The first one is, what in your life or work is dying? What in your life or work is dying? And this isn't meant to be like dark or macabre or anything. It's simply what maybe has run its course. What was good for a season is no longer important, no longer worth the energy that you're putting into it, and needs to be celebrated, and then maybe moved on from. The next question is connected to it. What in your life and work is seeking to be born? Right? There might be something that's just niggling at you, like you put some energy into this, put some energy into it. It's seeking to come out, but maybe we're not putting any time into it. We're trying not to pay attention to it. What is seeking to be born? This next one, this fourth question, is one of my favorites. What strength has led to your current success? What strength do you have that's led to your current success? When it comes to the business coaching that I do, this question has become foundational for me, because most people, most adults I have found, tend to focus on their weaknesses. They tend to say, this is what I'm no good at, this is what I stink at, this is what I'm off. Like, I need to turn my weaknesses into a strength. Now, sometimes there are weaknesses that are holding you back, and those need to be addressed. But more often than not, the way that we can get to massive growth is looking at our strengths and doubling down on those, right? Actually just doing more of what you're amazing at, right? What is your superpower? What is your strength? Just do more of that. Cal Newport says that in his book, Slow Productivity, right? He says, do less things, but he's not saying like do less volume. He's saying just do fewer things. I think that's actually what he says, is do fewer things. And what it means is pick what you're really amazing at and do that really, really well. Do it a lot. And the last question is actually just the first three words of a question. It's just the opening phrase, is how might we? How might we? Right? And here's the context for a question like that, is we start off by saying, what could we do? What could we do? And we put something out there. Now, immediately our brains will go to the 400 reasons that won't work, that we can't do that we ought not do that, right? So we're going to start a new division of our company. We're going to release a new product. We're going to go into a different business partnership. Or maybe personally, right? I'm going to make a change in my habits or my behavior. I'm going to try something new with my family. We immediately go to, here's the 50 reasons it wouldn't work. How might we says, we're not yet committed to doing it. We're not yet committed to doing it. But if we did, how might we do it? What are some of the options, right? And it actually opens up this amazing level of creativity when we ask those types of questions. How might we? So a couple questions for you to ponder on. I want to ask you again, and take a second to write in the comments below. What is your greatest hope for yourself, personally and professionally, in 2025? And if you would, how might what you've learned today about Xchange help you get there? It may or may not be a good fit for you to be a part of the Xchange community, but maybe some of the things that you learned about appreciative inquiry, about conscious facilitation, about awakening conscious leadership, even the appreciative inquiry summits that we do. What is it about this process, this methodology, this operating system that I'm a part of may be helpful for you in getting to your goals in 2025? For me, my greatest hope for myself personally and professionally is to be more who I am when I'm at my best, when I'm on stage, and to press record so that I can share what I've learned with the world. Thanks for joining me today as we think through how you can elevate your events.